All right, so for the second part of our math lesson today, we're going to talk about multiplying by 10 or multiplying by a multiple of 10. And we're going to pull in what we know about our place value and our base 10 blocks to help us. And then we're also going to talk about how the distributive property can help us. And we'll probably even at the end learn a trick to make this a lot faster. But I don't want you to use your trick until you understand the why behind it. So first, in your journal at the top, I want you to write multiplying, let's write the symbol for it, by multiples of 10. All right, so let's start off, and we're going to do some examples, and I'll show you a few different ways to do this, and then I'll show you the trick at the end. So we're going to start off with a pretty easy one. Let's do 6 times 10. Now, the first thing I want us to talk about is with our base 10 block, so we can visually see this. If you were here in class, I'd be having you make this. Here in a second, I'm going to have you draw it because we know how to draw our base 10 blocks. So this represents 10, right? Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 units on it. So this is one group of 6. When we're multiplying, we're looking at multiple groups of a number. On here, we're looking at 6 groups of 10. 6 groups of 10. So I would need 6 of these to represent this problem. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's my 6 groups. Now I can just skip count by 10s to get my answer. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So this equals 60. And some of you might already have known that, but I want you to see the easier problems so you understand the harder ones when we get there. So if I'm going to draw this in base 10 blocks, it'd be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Remember the lines represent our rods? Equals 60. Okay, so that's with a base 10 block. All right, now let's look at a harder example. And let's do the problem. Let's do 5 times 20. So I need 5 groups of 20. So here's 20, because that's 2 of them, right? And I need 5 of those groups. So here's 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups. Try to put it on there so y'all can see it. And then 4 groups, and 5 groups. So if I count by, I'd still go back and probably count by 10s, and I would say it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. That equals 100. So if you were going to draw that, I would want to see your 5 groups. So 10 and 20, then leave a little space. 10 and 20, 10 and 20, 10, 20, 10, 20. Then you can go back and count. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. All right, so let's talk about how I can use the distributive property, the distributive properties to make this easier. So this is a different way to work it. Let's say I don't want to multiply by 20 because that's too hard. I could break this up into 10 and 10 because 10 plus 10 still equal 20. Now I can multiply 5 times 10, and then I can do 5 times this 10. And then when I add this together, I'm still going to get 100 because 5 times 10 is 50 plus 5 times 10 is 50, and that equals 100. That's called your distributive property. It's breaking apart a number to make it easier, the number's easier to work with. All right, let's do one more. Let's do a really hard one, and then I'll show you the trick. Let's do 8 times 70. And I'm not going to make that with base 10 blocks because it would take up way too much space if I actually made them with real base 10 blocks. But I can still draw 8 groups of 70 if I wanted to. So that would be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. That's 6 of them. Okay, I need 2 more. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Okay, so that's my base 10 blocks. I think what would make this the easiest if it circled groups of 10, because I know that equals 100. So if this is 8, 2 more here would give me 100. This is 8. I'm going to steal another 2 from this one. There's another group of 100. Do the same thing on this right here. There's 100. There's another 100. There's another 100. Okay, let's see how many little ones I have left. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Oh, what am I doing wrong? Let's see. That's 8. Oh, I didn't circle enough. There we go. Got to include one more. I only circled 9 of them. That's what's wrong. Okay, so let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so my ones that are left over only equal 60. So then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 560. Whew, that is a lot. That to me is pretty hard. I probably would not draw this. Now, I could break up my 70 though. I could break up my 70 if I wanted into 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay? That still equals 70. And I could do 8 times 10 that many times if that was easier. Okay? I could do that. And then I could add 80 plus 80 plus 80 plus 80 plus 80 plus 80 plus 80 if I wanted to. That would be okay. Or another way, this is what's so good about numbers, you can break them up in so many ways. I could break up my 70 into a 50 and a 20, 50 and 20. Those are a little bit smaller numbers to work with, and I could say 8 times 50 plus 8 times 20. All right, I could do it that way and still get 560. There's so many different ways you can break up your numbers. Now let me show you the trick. Now that you understand that we're still working with multiples of 10, I want you to write, this is a trick, only a trick. There's not much math behind it, but it works, and it's faster, okay? So let's say I wanted to do 60 times 6. You're going to underline that in this, okay? Then pretend like, for now, here, let me cover this up. I'm going to use the base 10 block. Pretend like that 0 is not there. You're going to multiply 6 times 6 equals 36. And then guess what? You have 1 0. You move it over. Your answer is 360. Same thing applies. Let's say we've got 50 times 40. Same thing. I'm going to underline the 5, underline the 4. 5 times 4 is 20. And then how many zeros? You have 2 zeros, so 1, 2. You move them both over, so 2,000. If you have 70 times 4, you're going to multiply. 7 times 4 is 28. Move the 1 0 over, so it's 280. Let's do one more hard one. Let's say we've got 30 times 80. Underline the 3, underline the 8. 3 times 8 is 24. You have 1, 2 zeros, so 1, 2. You move both of them over. 2,400. So that's the trick. As we're moving into this harder multiplication over the next few days, this is probably what you're going to want to use. You do not want to have to draw out all of your base 10 blocks. Now, some of you are probably like, ooh, how did she know 8 times 3 so fast? How does she know 7 times 4? Well, guys, I have them memorized, and that's something you could be working on, is memorizing your facts. But I will always tell this story because my son, he's super, 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 super smart, but he has a really hard time memorizing things. So he had to create, until he got better, now he's in 5th grade, I think he's got him down now, but he had to create a T-chart. And I want to show you how to make this T-chart, and it'll really help, especially when we get to division. So let's say for the number 8, 8s are hard. You're going to draw an 8 there and then 8 little dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you have to know all the way 1 through 9. So we always list 1 through 9 in our chart. And you'd say, okay, one group of 8, and you'd count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One group of 8 equals 8. So 1 times 8 is 8. 2 groups of 8, and you would just start here at the 8, and you'd count on 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, hold on, 56, yeah. 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72. So then when I did 8 times 3, I could just go down to my 3's right here and say, ooh, that's 24, and just add my 2 zeros. So if you need to make these to help you solve these problems, there is nothing wrong with having to make these. These are good. These are awesome, especially when we get to our division. They're going to be super helpful, and I'll probably even make you make them. So if you practice now, you'll already have it down for our next unit on division.